Good morning everybody. This is Jason here. Alright, so today welcome to our latest reseller update solutions. Okay, so basically, thank you very much for spending your next 1 hour with me. I will be going through some of the latest new products that will be launching or has already arrived in Singapore. I will definitely go through with you what's available actually in Singapore. Alright, and also at the same time, what's up and coming from Synology, and also some quick updates. All right, so for today's session, I've actually added in some secret stuff, so that will be at the end. Today's session is only for resellers, so there are no public in our session. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. All right, so among our audience today, we also have Synology. Okay, Lisa from Synology is in. So in case if you have any questions or if you want to reach out to her, all right, you can also pop your email in the chat. All right, the video is recorded. So long as you have the link, you can definitely still review back what I have spoke about today in today's session. All right, and similarly for all the past sessions. Okay, for some of you who may have not attended our past events, all right, just give me a ping or heads up to us in case if you want to watch any of the past sessions. Okay, so all right, if you have any questions, I know there's a little bit of lag for the YouTube stream. I will keep a lookout for your chat and also try our best to answer your questions that you may have. All right, so don't forget, in Singapore we do enjoy some additional benefits for selling Synology. Okay, don't forget that there is still the BCS, Business Continuity Solution, where you can purchase to add on to your normal hardware warranty, where if you need loaner units, there are available solutions. Reach out to your distributors. They will be able to advise you, and you can keep in contact with the provider for the solution. Okay, so do reach out to them if you need additional normal hardware warranty, you need loaner sets, okay, or if you already have units that are installed and customers are requesting that they want to purchase loaner policy because they forgot or they did not purchase it prior to their last purchase. Okay, reach out to the provider, and they can give you a quotation for it. Okay, they have 8x5, they have 24x7x4. Okay, so all the various solutions are available for you in Singapore. Right now, last session we did talk about the router. Okay, so for the router from Synology, the latest one, the AX, okay, it's still waiting for IMDA to approve because IMDA hasn't really set the standard for 6E. Okay, the router is already 6E ready. Okay, it's the Wi-Fi 6E ready, but Singapore standards are still not set by IMDA, so IMDA is still kind of delaying on the frequency. Okay, but definitely it's already available for countries that actually approve the use of Wi-Fi 6E. Okay, so other than that, we just have to wait for our regulations in Singapore to allow it to happen. So for now, it's still not available for sale. Okay, we have to lobby with IMDA to get the router to be approved for sale. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why you don't see 6E Wi-Fi 6E routers in Singapore at present moment. Okay, quite a number of vendors are actually waiting for it. Okay, and so keep a lookout for it. Now, as for the stock situation, okay, for those early birds, okay, right now we have over 20 people. For the stock situations, please do note, okay, the XS model, all right, for those who are quoting or have proposed, for example, like DS1621 XS Plus, which is one of my favorite, and I'm using a lot of it. Okay, the lead time is really very long. Okay, maybe you want to consider something else. All right, and if you're not sure what to counteract or what to propose, you can also ping me and reach out to me. Okay, for those who are in our Telegram group, okay, you can also reach out to me. All right, and also at the same time, don't forget that there is also a general public Facebook Singapore user group. All right, you can also join the Facebook group. All right, and we do have public events being conducted over at the Facebook group. Okay, and we have done quite a fair bit of it. There will be new stuff coming. So once the router is officially allowed for sale in Singapore, we will also conduct another session for it to go through. I really like the router, especially being a family man and having kids. I need to protect my home Wi-Fi internet usage, especially how to control the kids. Okay, and similarly, controlling kits, you can also use it to control your staff, especially when you are proposing it to your customers, especially for the small businesses. Okay, and some of them they don't even have a proper firewall, so this could be a good starting point for them. All right, if they were to use a Synology router. Okay, and on top of that, there's also VPN readiness. Okay, it's ready for VPN. All right, so that's a few things. All right, for housekeeping wise, as usual, it's a 1 hour session. Okay, I will try to give time for Q&A. All right, today we have a total about 37 slides. Okay, I have my clock in front of me, so I will monitor the time, and also I have my phone in front of me to look at the chat. Okay, so meanwhile, sit back, relax. Okay, keep the link in case you need to refer back. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, all right. So basically today is a reseller update. Okay, I would say updates. There are quite a fair bit of things to update. Let me get my mouse over. Okay, right. So agenda for today. What are the new products for 2022? Okay, this is basically more or less what's going to happen. I don't think there will be any more SKUs coming in. All right. Very quickly, for those who have attended my previous session, I have already briefly gone through the HD 6500. I will again go through it today in case if you have forgotten about it or there may be some newcomers. All right. The one that has already landed in Singapore will be the RS422 Plus. Okay, RS422 Plus is already at available stocks. Okay, you can purchase it. All right, I will briefly go through what are some of the new things, and in fact there will be a new part, okay, which is introduced to be attached for the current RS422 Plus. Okay, I'm using the word current because definitely down the road they will be using it for the newer models. Okay, now for the hard drive, we all know that there is 8 TB, 12 TB, 16 TB from Synology. So today we'll be talking about the latest offering, which is the 4 TB hard drive from Synology. So with the addition of 4 TB, you will have 4, 8, 12, 16 available from Synology. All right. I don't think they'll be doing 2 TB, and also the request for 2 TB has also dropped dramatically. So let's just focus on 4, 8, 12, 16. Now, anything above 16, no news as yet. Nothing coming out from HQ. Okay, you can put in more requests. If you have requests for more than 16, just let Lisa know. Okay, she's the channel account manager for Singapore. She takes care of nothing but Singapore. Okay, so if you have anything, you can definitely reach out to Lisa. Okay, now for the RS. Okay, so this is a so-called, to me, I think it's a very major thing because in Singapore we do push and sell a lot of RS820 Plus or the RP Plus. And today I'm going to talk about the RS822 RP Plus or RS822 Plus. Okay, so this is the new model that will replace the RS820 Plus. Now, if you have projects that have already spec in with RS820, don't worry, there are still stocks available in Singapore. You can quickly purchase it and finalize and confirm with your customers. Okay, so that's very, very important. Make sure you double check and confirm with your customers, and make sure that you have ample stocks to sell it to them. Okay, or else in some cases, if you can still change, okay, move to the RS822 Plus. Okay, for warranty wise, don't worry. Hardware wise, as per normal, all the warranty is going to be there. All right, so Synology keeps ample stocks for hardware replacement warranty. Okay, now as for the warranty extension from 3 years to 5 years, as usual, just purchase EW201. Okay, don't forget you have 30 calendar days from date of being installed. Okay, once the moment you go live, go online, they will ping and they will sync up, and Synology will know the date that you actually used. Okay, you have 30 calendar days to extend the warranty from 3 years to 5 years by purchasing EW201. Okay, and of course you have to sign in using your Synology account and then to extend the warranty. Now, another new offering will be the DVA1622. Okay, previously they have the larger model, which is the DVA3221. All right, which does a lot of video analytics. Okay, for AI stuff. All right, I will go through that also. All right, very quickly. Some of you may ask, what does DVA stand for? Okay, there'll be a slight hint in my slides to explain how they derive the DVA. So you can see and look through it. Okay, I will go through that now. On the second part of today's update, I also go through a little bit, very tiny bit on the C2 update. We can't avoid C2, honestly speaking, and rather, in fact, I'm trying to push some system integrators to become the MSP for C2. Okay, rather than just selling hardware, installing configuration, and selling extended warranty and maintenance. All right. So for today's extra kicker, okay, if you stay as long as you can, all right, I have added a maintenance guide. All right. A lot of people have asked me, Jason, after selling the hardware and whatever configuration services and on-site what else can we do? All right. So similar to cars, okay, there's a guide. All right, what you can propose every 6 months or yearly thing. So there's a 6-month thing that you can do. There's a yearly thing that you can do for the NAS. Okay, what are the checks? All right, similar to cars, you can do some checks. Or like, for example, for aircon, you may service the aircon. For cars, you service the cars. And whatever machineries that you have, there'll be some servicing guide. Okay, you'll be in a QR code. Okay, or you can scan the QR code and you can download the document. All right. So that's a good thing, and it's totally free. I'm not going to charge anything for it. You can get the guide, you can use it and keep it. Right. Now, the thing is, the guide that I have is in Chinese. I don't have it in English. All right, I'm sorry. And you just have to figure it out. All right. And the Chinese is Taiwanese Chinese. Okay. So it's not Jianti, it's Fanti. Okay. So it's going to be a bit more team. All right, in our word. Okay, so just try and be your best to figure it out and use it and come up with your own maintenance, all right, to offer to your customers. All right, everyone has our own different customers. Some of them sell specifically large scale storage, so they will be promoting the HD 6500. Some of us do the smaller businesses, so we will be focusing more on the 422 or the 822, okay, or in fact the DS models. And at the end, after which there will be a short time where I'll leave it for the Q&A in case you have any questions with regards to the model that we spoke about. All right, so that's the agenda for today. Okay, so far I think everybody is okay. Let me see. Okay, just a quick check. Okay, now let's move on to the next page. Okay, so we have the hardware updates. Okay, so now the first thing that we want to look at is the product offering. Okay, right, so we all know the series where we started off with, of course, as system integrators, we look at the plus models. Okay, none of the home models. I'm not going to talk about any of the home models. Okay, we have the new edition of the RS422 Plus, the new edition of the RS822 RP and R Plus. Okay, and also for the high density series, we have the HD 6500. All right, as for the rest, last month's session, I've talked about the FS 2500. For those who are chasing after performance and speed, okay, and the previous FS 3400 or 3600 is a bit too steep. All right, Synology has introduced the FS 2500 as an alternative, and it's an 8 bay for SSD. Okay, for some they don't need so many bays. All right, and the FS 2500 will be a very lean and nimble unit for some who requires the speed. All right, who requires the SSD speed. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, let's look at the HD 6500. Okay, it's a 4U unit as per my last session. Okay, it's a 4U unit. All right, the thing is that it can go petabyte, so it's a high density, heavy duty storage unit. Okay, and it's very good, especially if you are looking at a large storage for cold storage. Okay, cold data storage. Okay, and of course, if you're talking about system backup, you're talking about video post-production, video large surveillance deployment or backup. Okay, there'll be some surveillance where they need to keep it and store it for 360 days and stuff like that, and it's really huge. Okay, and it's very much scalable, and it doesn't take up too much of a rack space. Okay, I will show you the difference in terms of rack space. Okay, now for the HD 6500, we are using the SAS hard drive. Okay, it's 3.5-inch SAS hard drive. You can put, for each unit, you can put up to 60. All right. 60 drives. Okay, the CPU inside is a dual Intel Xeon Silver 10-core CPU. Okay, of course the memory is huge. You can expand it up to 512 GB. All right, if you're going up to petabyte size. Sizing wise, if you have questions, as usual, refer to your salesperson. They will be able to advise you. Now, for the expansion, after the first initial unit, you're looking at is the RX 6200, as it says. Okay, so you can add up multiple units and you can expand up to 300 bays. Okay, so how it looks like a 300 bay, let me show it to you. Now this is the back of the unit. All right, you can download the data sheet. It's available on Synology website. You actually have dual SSD slots where they will actually plug in to store the DSM system. Okay, so the DSM system is not on the 60 bay but rather at the back, where above the dual PSU you have the dual SSD slots for you. Okay, now let's look at the rack. Okay, for us who are very concerned about rack space, if you were to do something similar, okay, to achieve 60 bays, previously you occupy up to 10U. All right, and that's a lot of space for premium space on the rack. Okay, so with that, if using the HD6500, you can reduce from 10U to 4U. Okay, and if you want to go up to even 300 bays, all right, it's just 4 times 4, 16U, and that's it. It settles for you. Okay, so that's the very high space saving unit for us. Okay, now the next one would be to look at the fault tolerance. Okay, let me explain the fault tolerance again. Okay, there were some questions the last round. Okay, so if you look at the main unit, all right, so there is a connection between two units. All right, so in case if anyone fails, all right, you have a so-called HA connectivity there for you. All right, and in terms of daisy chaining, okay, so on the right of the slide, okay, to the left, okay, so you will see that while all the units are interconnected, all right, so in case if any one of the expansion bays has issue or dies, okay, the last unit will still be returned back to the main unit. Okay, you can see the last line. Okay, the last unit on the fourth unit of the 6200 says, all right, it will actually loop back to the main unit. Okay, so there and there, if any like number 2 or number 3 breaks, okay, everything will still be interconnected back to the main unit for the HD6500. So in terms of fault tolerance, it's all been taught for. Okay, so it's already been covered. In terms of latency, it's extremely fast. Okay, then in terms of performance, okay, don't worry, it's using SAS drive. Okay, SAS has been around in the market for a very long time. Every unit has dual PSU, all right, and it's hot swappable. Okay, so in case of any issues, you can just hot swap the PSU. All right, so whatever situation or scenarios that you can think of in terms of hardware, other than of course the data center burning down or stuff like that, or flooding, okay, which is, I don't think so. All right, so in terms of network, hardware, storage, everything has been thought of for. All right, so don't worry about using this particular unit. Okay, if you have any projects that require high capacity, large storage, please do consider this model and reach out to us, and we will definitely be able to help you. All right, so this is one of Synology's data center. This is the image that I'll just show you guys how it looks like. Okay, so let's talk about the small, quick, compact, and nimble unit, RS422 Plus. It's a 1U unit. All right, for the rack mount, you'll still use the RKS-02. Okay, of course, if you want the fixed rail kit, you can still buy. It's still available. All right, it's just very narrow. Okay, it's just 32 centimeters. Okay, and you can just mount it even without the rail kit. All right, it should be fine. Okay, redundancy, it has dual 1 gig network port. All right, you can use it for failover or load balancing. Okay, now at the back of the unit, there is a new slot. Okay, there is a new slot where you can plug in a new card, which gives you dual 10G. Okay, I'll have it in my next slide. I'll show you. Now, very quickly on the CPU, they have moved on from Intel to AMD. Okay, which we can see in quite a number of the new desktop models. Alright, so this is using a AMD Ryzen R1600. It's a 4-core, okay, up to 2.6 gig. Alright, and in terms of throughput, okay, it's be able to achieve up to, okay, 500 meg. Okay, of course, this is if you are plugging in SSDs. Alright, if you're plugging in traditional hard drives, 300 megabits, no issue. Okay, one bay, one U4 bay. Okay, so this is a very new and nimble unit. Okay, it's available. Stocks are already out in the market, so don't worry, you can definitely get it and purchase it easily. Okay. Next, I want to spend a bit more time on this new network upgrade module. Okay, previously we are all used to normal the PCI card. All right, so with this new card, okay, the E10G22-T1 Mini, all right, there is a network RJ45 port. Okay, it's M gig. Okay, what I mean by M gig is multi-gig. Okay, it can accept 1 gig, 2.5 gig. Okay, 5 gig, 10 gig. Okay, not an issue. All right. In terms of compatibility, all right, it's designed for maximum performance. Of course, right now it can only be used in the RS422 Plus. All right. Of course, naturally, Synology is not going to come out something and just use it for one model. So I guess down the road, as we see more new models coming out for 2022, 2023, and down the road, okay, high chances this card will be definitely part of the expansion slot. Okay, so how do you slot it in? Very simple, just 2 screws at the back. Okay, remove the plate, slot it in, screw in the screws, and that's it. Okay, it's very simple as that. Okay, so not too difficult. I don't have the price for this unit yet. I have not seen physically the unit, but it should be available for ordering if you require for your customers who are using the 422 Plus. Okay. Now, next, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on the hard drive. Okay, for the latest data sheets, okay, you will notice that Synology has actually added additional one more sentence in all of their new data sheets, which states that Synology only guarantees, okay, full functionality, reliability, and performance for Synology drives listed on the compatibility list. Okay. The reason being is, I'll be very frank and share with you guys, a lot of customers having support issues or raise tickets and end up a very high percentage of it is due to the drives. Okay, the reason being the NAS is not faulty, nothing wrong with the NAS. It's just the drives that they're using. Okay, for example, they may use desktop drives and mount it on a rack. Okay, the NAS vibrates a lot when it's on the rack. Okay, desktop drives can't handle the vibration. Okay, so there is a very big reason why even among so-called NAS drives, okay, there are different quality. Okay, in Chinese we will say 一分钱一分货. Okay, so very seriously is you need to get the proper drives for the NAS. Of course, customers have budget, but you got to go back to them and tell them, are you willing to sacrifice your downtime, productivity, and issues that you may face just because of drives? You get what I mean? Okay, the difference right now is not really a lot like last time where one drive could be $200-300 different. Okay, I don't think so. Okay, because if you were to get a similar rack mount compatible drive, okay, the price wouldn't be very much difference, and all Synology drives come with 5 years warranty. Okay, and in Singapore we are very fortunate to be able to do one-to-one swap with your supplier. Okay, so all the hard drives, there are buffer stocks available in Singapore to swap out. Alright, so don't worry. Similarly for the SSDs, okay, too many of them for the past more than 24 months I've seen has been using consumer SSDs and plugging. Yes, it will run, okay, no doubt. Alright, but how long and how far? Okay, that's very critical. It's the same as sometimes the analogy is that you can pour whiskey into a car, the car will still move, a petrol car, but how far and how long? Okay, so similarly, I've seen a lot of consumer drives failing very quickly in being used in the NAS environment. Okay, yeah, no doubt you can say that it is in the list. Okay, but in the list they have stated for you is consumer drive. Okay, So that is very, very critical. Always remember to use the right SSD, okay? And also with the implementation of DSM 7.1, okay? If you are not using the right drive, yes, no doubt it's unverified, you can still proceed, okay? Performance and the guarantee is not there. Okay, so it's all stated in the data sheet, everything's on the website, okay, nobody's hiding anything, all right. Synology is very, very open and transparent with all this, so be very, very, very careful about this. Now for SSD, similarly, if possible at all times, all right, try your very best to go with Synology SSDs. Okay, it's all tested and verified and definitely have no issues, okay, and it can really go the distance, all right. I've installed quite a number of Synology SSDs for more than 18 months, and so far, touch wood, nothing wrong, okay? Everything is smooth and fine. Well, those customers who insist to use consumer drives, consumer SSDs, I have seen them go and claim RMA for the SSDs, okay? Now, similarly, the consumer SSDs, they are able to check if you have actually used up your read-write, okay? They will know, okay, there are software available as long as the drive just stops working because it has already reached its read-write, okay, then you just stop, all right. It's not that there was a hardware faulty with the drive, okay, with the SSD, but rather because it has already reached its lifespan, and that's it, okay. They won't be able to claim warranty, or they may not even change for you, okay. So be very, very careful about it, okay. It's not that they can't check. All right, there are equipment for them to check the SSD if you have used it in a NAS, okay? So I leave it up to you. It's up to you. If you have to run to your customers 2-3 times, then honestly speaking, it's really a lot of wastage and time wasted, okay? So now for drives, again, you have your 4, 8, 12, 16 for your SATA drives, okay? For the SAS drive, it's still at 8, 12, 16. Okay, now for the M.2, similarly, okay, you have to use the Synology M.2 because the software DSM will know that your M.2 is also not Synology. Okay, what's going to happen is, yes, you can still plug it in, it's just not going to raise up the speed, honestly speaking. It's just not going to, okay. Yes, you have the cache, okay, but it's not going to help you speed up the thing because you will not have the additional add-on advantage. Okay, because the DSM 7.1 will know that you're not using a Synology M.2. Okay, and Synology M.2 similarly 5 years warranty. Okay, using it, you don't have to worry about your phone ringing in the middle of the night or having issues. Okay, it's very, very simple. How to install the M.2? I have actually done 2 YouTube videos, okay, on how to fix it. It's not too difficult. Just make sure that you follow the instructions. Make sure the controller has the paste, and put down the heatsink properly and secure it, okay. That's about it. Okay, so similarly, I can't stress enough on the advantages, okay. Reliability, I tell you, by using Synology hard drives, the number of cases dropped, okay. We don't have to hear so many support issues, okay. And also the performance, okay. The performance of the Synology drives, okay, is definitely there, all right. We do see a bit of an improvement, okay. And also the next one is hard disk firmware updates, okay. You can update the hard drive firmware via the DSM if you are using a Synology drive. There is actually an option where you can update the firmware if there are new firmwares, okay. So there you are already assured that in case if down the road there are any bugs or any situation where the firmware of the hard drive needs to be updated, you don't have to extract out the hard drive and change out a new one with the new firmware, okay. With the Synology hard drive, you can update your hard drive firmware on the fly, okay, on the fly. There's no downtime, all right. It will just update it by itself, and there will be no downtime incurred, all right. That's simple as that. I know quite a number of us have never seen it happen before. I have updated quite a number of hard drive firmware in my lifetime. Because I have access to hard drive vendors and they do provide me with firmware updates, and I have to manually find a PC, okay, and run the program on command line to update it, okay. It's simple, but still it's time consuming, okay. So in case where your situation where you get an earlier batch of drives and you need to update the firmware, you can't do it, All right, but with Synology hard drives, you can update the firmware of the drives on the fly. All right, and it doesn't cost you any downtime. Okay, so very quickly on the chart. Okay, what are advantages? Okay, you can update even your SSD. Okay, your system recovery. Okay, it's a lot faster. Okay, so these are just very straightforward, very fast benefits that you get for using the Synology SSD or the Synology hard drive. Okay, you can update it. Okay, you don't have to remove your hard drives from the NAS. Okay, you don't have to use a third-party tool to update. You don't have to prepare any additional equipment. All right, the uptime, the recovery time is much faster. Okay, you can see the very big difference as compared to using Synology drives and third-party drives. Okay, and similarly, I can't stress enough. See this? Okay, this sentence is add-on. All right, for you all to see. Okay, so I already put it in 2 slides. Okay, don't say that it's not mentioned. Okay, very quickly on the models. All right, there are a lot of questions on the models. All right, that definitely requires Synology drives. Of course, it's all the newer 2021 models, 2022 models. Okay, for the DS, it's definitely the DS 2422 Plus and the 3622. These definitely needs to use Synology hard drives. Okay, you can't avoid it. Now for the RS models, from the bigger units, RS 4021 XS Plus, 3621, you definitely need to use the Synology drives, 2421 also and 2821. Okay, honestly speaking, unless it's smaller capacity than 8 TB, all right, you have options for other vendors. Okay, anything above 8, definitely you will have to use Synology drives. Okay, now moving forward, of course, the newer 2022 models for the RS and DS12P and above, you definitely need to also use the Synology hard drives. Okay, with the Synology hard drive, your after-sales support is definitely there. Okay, once the support team from Synology goes in and sees that, okay, you're using Synology drives and you're having issues, okay, they will definitely support you all the way. Okay, but the moment once they see that you're using unverified drive or incompatible drive, okay, the support stops. Okay, so long as the machine is still working, nothing wrong with the machine, not a PSU issue, okay, not a connector issue or not a motherboard issue, then they'll tell you sorry, they can't proceed any more further. Okay, so it's already mentioned and we've been cooking about this for the past more than 18 months. All right, it's getting very serious because there are a lot of questions about it and I don't want our Singapore resellers to suffer from it. All right, so I can't stress enough about it. Okay, so what you're going to see is when you have an unverified drive from DSM 7.1 and DSM 6.2.4, you will see and show you that there is the word unverified. Okay, your customers will see it. All right, if they ask you and they question you, then I leave it up to you. You will have to answer to them. Similarly, for your storage pool, they will also show that you have one or more unverified drive in your storage pool. Okay, so these are things that will definitely show up, and you can't avoid not to update your DSM because sometimes the DSM has security patches updates. Okay, and you are responsible to the customers to update your DSM. Okay, to patch up with the security. All right, so the next mainstream model that we're talking about is the all-time flexible and effective RS822 Plus. All right, of course, similarly, it will also have the RP Plus. Okay, you can start to place order for it. Stocks will start to come in. Right, for the expansion unit for the RS822, you will be using the RX418. Now, in terms of memory, okay, the RS822 allows you to upgrade, okay, all the way up to 32 GB of DDR4 ECC RAM. Okay, for this particular model, it's using the DDR4 ECC RAM. Okay, unlike the previous generation or previous model. Okay, so take note of that. All right, I think I have a mistake here. I need to edit. Okay. All right. Okay, I have overlooked on this portion. Okay. All right. Sorry. Right. So I have to edit on the fly. Okay, good. Thank God. Okay. So I already fixed it. Right, for the CPU processor, it's using the AMD Ryzen V1500. It's also 4-core. You can definitely still also run VMs on it. The basic memory, like I mentioned earlier, it's 2 GB DDR4, and then it's expandable up to 32 GB. So when are situations where you need to update RAM, it's when your volume starts to get huge or when you have a lot of users. Okay, when you start to have a lot of users and you're running a lot of applications, like for example, in my case, I do VM on NAS. I do Dockers on NAS. I do run quite a number of things on the NAS itself directly. Okay, and of course then you have your HAs and things like that. Okay, and then how big a RAID you have. Right, there's never not enough memories. Okay, I kind of love to have a lot of memory because unused memories can also be used as part of your cache. Okay, form factor 1U as usual, scalable up to 8 bay. Right, so let's take a look at the next model. Right, so the next one we are looking at is the AI NVR. All right, is the DVA 1622. Okay, this is something new. It's actually only 2 bay. All right, the form factor is similar to the 720. Okay, the very quick one is at the back of this unit, there is actually a HDMI port. Okay, so you don't have to buy another visual station to view the video. Okay, and by default it comes with 8 camera license. Okay, it comes with 8 camera license and updatable to 16. Okay, so max out at 16. And the thing is just basically mainly as a NVR. Can you still use these as a normal NAS? Yes, you can. All right, you will still have your DSM running. Okay, just that it could be a bit of an overkill. All right, given the fact that it's mainly to be used as a AI NVR. Okay, so you have your deep learning stuff that you can do, the deep video analytics. Okay, these are some of it, which is facial recognition. All right, so far I've been using it and it's very good. All right, people and vehicle detection, people counting, vehicle counting, it all works. All right, very well. The trends going in and out of a place or location. Intrusion detection, you can draw a vertical fence, and license plate recognition. Okay, so for license plate recognition, I have not tested for Singapore license plate, but there is a knowledge base, there's a KB, all right, on how the license plate recognition actually works. Okay, it is recognizing quite a number of countries' license plate. All right, if you are going to use it for license plate recognition, please check back also. Okay, now for the deep learning, do note, while you can have up to so many numbers of VA, but you can only run 2 simultaneous video analytics or 1 facial recognition task at any one time. Okay, so take note of that. You have many DVAs, but doesn't mean that you can run all at the same time. Okay, you can only run 2 simultaneous real-time video analytics. Okay, if you want to run after, if you want to run after, then that's fine. Okay, but if you want to run real-time simultaneous, you can only run 2, or if you're running facial recognition, you can only run 1 at one time. Okay, if you need more, then you need to get a bigger unit, which is the DVA 3200. Okay, this is for a smaller scale and lighter, smaller unit. Okay, now another thing that this fella can do is dual simultaneous recording. Okay, so not only you can store your surveillance footage on-prem, you can also purchase additional space on C2, Synology C2, which is C2 surveillance, where you can also simultaneously record to the Synology C2 cloud. Okay, so previously you can't do it, say that I want to also push it up to Google or AWS. All right, that will be recorded and then push up again. Whereas right now, you can have simultaneous dual recording. Okay, so that's the thing. So you can have on-prem on the NAS itself, and added on with additional purchase of space from Synology C2 surveillance, you can also simultaneously record up to C2 cloud in case anything happens on-prem to the NVR. Okay, so this is a very new thing, I would say, and a very good offering. Okay, so take a look at this, and this is definitely available. Okay, now let's talk about the C2 updates. I'm sure not many has actually seen it, but actually there are free accounts that you can use, all right, to try out and test out the C2. Okay, let me go through some of the things that C2 have. Okay, now C2 offerings, basically C2 has C2 password, okay, where it helps you keep your passwords for you. C2 backup, you can buy it as an individual or as a business, all right, if you want to have your own cloud storage space. It's not very expensive per se, and for us in Asia, the nearest data center right now is going to be in Taiwan, which is Synology Taiwan's data center, and it's very secure. Okay, you also have your C2 transfer, so in case you want to do a secure C2 file transfer, you can also go through using the C2 transfer. Okay, and you don't want people to come into your NAS, okay, and you can use it through your C2 transfer. All right, C2 ID, so it keeps your ID on their cloud server. Object storage, for you to store your things that you're designing or your objects that you have. C2 storage, as usual, to be part of your overall storage on the cloud. All right, you can purchase it. You can purchase 1 TB. You can purchase however many terabytes that you require. Okay, all these are all available right now. Okay, you can purchase it because previously you can only purchase it for Germany or Seattle. Okay, and C2 right now they have the data center in Taiwan, and the speed is very decent, especially for us. Okay, and last but not least, the latest is on C2 surveillance. Okay, we'll cover more about surveillance in next month's webinar, where we will be talking about surveillance 9.0. The surveillance station 9.0, we will cover it more on what are the new things that is available on Synology's VMS. Okay, so these are the things that is already out. Okay, and you can definitely explore and offer it out to your customers to let them know that there is such solutions available in the market. Okay, so so far so good. I hope I have not lost anybody. Okay, so in terms of the hardwares, the latest coming out, I have already gone through with you. I've also talked about the importance of the Synology hard drive. That's very important. Do take note. Okay, let's not play a fool with the data that our customer is securing on the NAS. Okay, and of course also on the latest DVA 1622. Okay, for those who are into surveillance, you can definitely know that there is a lot more than just what's on the market for analog and on-site storage. Okay, with the Synology's offering, you can definitely do a lot more, much more. Okay, so let's move on to my additional guide. Okay, I'm going to take this additional time, okay, to go through with you guys on some of the things that I actually been talking about and teaching people. That is that always remember, buying a NAS is all about the backup. Okay, and what's the basic backup rule is 3-2-1. Okay, minimally. Of course, there are some who do 5-1, there are some who do 7-1, and stuff like that. Okay, so it's up to your tolerance and up to your budget. Okay, but minimally at least have 3 data backup. Okay, 2 storage medium. What do you mean by 2 storage medium? That means you make sure that there are 2 different media, not the same. Okay, by having 1 NAS but 2 different volumes, that doesn't constitute 2 storage medium. Okay, the best is 2 different NASs. All right, and make sure one of it is offsite. Okay, for even the smallest business, very simple. Just tell the owner, explain to the owner, you just have to have a backup. All right, even if just to help them store it in their home. Okay, most of Singapore homes has very fast internet. Okay, and it's never an issue for them to just plug another NAS in their home. All right, make sure it's a plus model to be able to do hyper backup. All right, and doing hyper backup just to back it up, it's just 4 or 5 clicks of the mouse. That's it. All right, so let me go through with that very quickly. Okay, you can do active backup for business. You can do it for PC, notebooks, server. All right, no license fee, no subscription, extremely easy. Okay, for PCs and notebook, download the agent, install the agent, and that's it. All right, you can do only local backup. You can also offer VPN connectivity back to the office to do office backup. So it doesn't matter if wherever they are in the world, it's up to your own IT policies, whether you only want local whenever they are in the office to do the backup, or they can do it even if they are working from home or anywhere in the world. All right, they just have to connect back to the office network and do the backup. And they can even do it during the off-peak hours. All right, there are no specific reason not to backup. Okay, and the backup is incremental. All right, so don't be mistaken, it's incremental. Of course, the very first time is going to be very painful, but after which incrementally it's not going to be a lot. Okay, unless you're talking about their daily transaction is into many gigabytes, and then that will be on the server side. Okay, that will be going through a local LAN. Okay, so not to worry about that. Now, especially if customers who are running on VM, okay, similarly, they can also do VMware and Hyper-V virtual machine backups. All right, so there's no excuse not to backup. Okay, the reason being is because it's free. Okay, not that it's free. The NAS is something that you have to pay. All right, make sure it's a plus model. Active backup is there for them to use. It's totally license free and subscription free. All right, there's never not enough backups. All right, I don't see any other excuse not to backup. Okay, so especially for businesses who are running a lot of VMs, okay, this is definitely a very useful solution for them. Okay, and if you're talking about simple backup, okay, just do a hyper backup, be it to back up the folders, system settings, or packages in the NAS, and you can back it up to multiple destinations. Okay, customer may find that, okay, I don't want to buy 2 NAS, then fine, subscribe to a cloud storage. Okay, whatever they like. If they don't have any idea, go to Synology Cloud. Synology C2 is there for you. Just use a credit card, pay for the space that they need, and that's it. It's done. All right, no other excuse. Or even if, let's say, the owner says that, oh, I want to physically hold the backup, then fine. Buy an external hard drive, plug it to the back of the USB, and start to do the backup. All right, and they can get the admin or the staff to unplug out the hard drive as and when they are not using it. All right, and plug it back in and do the backup again. Okay, and they can also browse through the backup files. All right, it's very simple. Okay, next. Now for the backup as sales, what we are focusing on is there's no additional software, no license required. Okay, it's a one-stop solution with ABB, Active Backup. All right, and there is a free technical support. Okay, and all the software has free updates. All right, you don't have to pay any more even to update the packages. Okay, it's all totally free. Okay, so there's no reason as usual not to have any backup. Okay, so for sales, just tell them there's no software license. Okay, what you're making on is your PS, okay, your professional service, on top of selling the NAS. Okay, now for the file server features, okay, for Synology, you can also use the NAS as a file server. Okay, it's happening since day one. Okay, across the platforms, all devices are supported, be it on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Android, or iOS. Okay, all can be done. Okay, and it's very easy to share the files. Okay, you can share by URL, you can share by QR code. Okay, you have your quick connect in case if customers who doesn't have a proper static IP, or in terms of restriction by password, restriction by time, date, and number of downloads. Okay, so even to use as a file server is as simple as that. Okay, comparing with traditional servers where you have to pay additional software license for the servers, okay, and you have to maintain, so the overall total cost of ownership, okay, the TCO, all right, if you spread out over 5 years, it's definitely a lot more beneficial. Okay, when you're owning a Synology NAS, be it that you can add on another unit as a HA, okay, as a hardware, as a high availability. All right, so all this is all available for you. Okay, so let me see. Right, so even in terms of archiving, all right, so today we talk about the HD 6500. For archiving, you have your HD 6500. Okay, 60 bay can easily expand up to 300 bay. All right, using SMB, single entry point platform. All right, and also you can also scale to the cloud. Okay, you can also do the C2 hybrid share. Okay, and also to have multiple points of access in terms of backup. Okay, in terms of situations, how you can also enter into the NAS if you want to. Okay, so these are the different form of archiving platforms. All right, let me jump back again to the SSD. All right, taking a look at the Synology SSD. Okay, the idea is, as usual, I can't stress this enough, to make sure that you're using something very, very reliable and proven and with the proper support from the vendor. Okay, because recently, not really recently, actually since last year, there's the uptake for the SSD usage has been going steadily and climbing. And if you're jumping on board, just to be very, very, very sure, okay, just stick to the vendor's SSD and nothing will go wrong. Okay, so don't try and cut corners, please. Don't try and cut corners, all right, and you'll be avoid a lot of headaches. Okay, so similarly, with the SSD, you will have improvement for the read write. Okay, always buy them in pairs. Okay, use them in pairs. Okay, especially if you're using it for file server, mail service, database storage, web server. Okay, or even for your iSCSI storage. Okay, it is very, very, very useful. Okay, with and without SSD, you will definitely see a difference within 6 weeks. Okay, most of the people will minimally see it at 6 weeks. Okay, you will definitely see a big difference. All right, for the first 4 weeks you won't, because it's still learning. Okay, the system has to learn what needs to be cached, what is often being used. Okay, and then they will know what to do. Okay, now for using flash, okay, if you are running anything that's real time, okay, especially for FSI, data analysis, okay, database, all right, it's very, very good to go flash, all flash. Okay, if you're using it just for cold storage, nobody's going to use all flash, or nobody's going to use SSD for cold storage. All right, so you don't have to propose flash for cold storage or archiving. Okay, but if customers say, I need something that is very, very fast, I'm going to do database, I'm going to do data analysis, then propose to them all fresh. Okay, they will definitely see the difference, because the IOPS is just there for them. Okay, right, last couple of slides before we call the day. Okay, now for after sales. All right, quite a number of you have asked me, so what can we do after sales? All right, I'm going to share this guide. Okay, it's a very, very simple maintenance guide. Okay, talk about system management, storage management, system security, data protection, and hardware maintenance. Okay, you can scan the QR code to download the PDF. I do apologize, I'm sorry, it's only available in Chinese. Okay, I don't have it in the English version. I'm not sure if anybody's going to convert it, but you can come up with your own version. Okay, it's just a guide to show you what are the things that you can offer to your customers and expand on your services. All right, to let them know what else you can do. All right, not just to buy a NAS and just configure one time and try to use it for as long as possible till it dies. Okay, there is still maintenance. Okay, things that needs to be done. Some of you may ask me, what are the things that could be done? All right, download the guide, take a look at it. If necessary, use Google to translate it, but of course the accuracy is not there. But then, as usual, most of us has taken Chinese as second language. All right, we can definitely read through it and understand it. Okay, so the guide is here for you. I'm just going to chat for another minute to let you guys have access to the QR code to download the guide. Okay, you can share it, don't worry. Share with your colleagues, share with your partners. All right, I'm not keeping it a secret. Okay, it's just that previously I didn't review about it. Okay, but there was quite a number of requests for it, so this time around I just decided to just put it out, okay, for everyone to download. Okay, it's already on YouTube. Okay, so let's move on. Right, in terms of the maintenance guide, you talk about installation, education, and training. Okay, in terms of data transfer, switch upgrade. Okay, switch upgrade is basically the network upgrade, because you may buy a 10 gig NAS, but make sure that all your backbone are also minimally 10 gig. Okay, you don't want to run a situation where you have a 10 gig NAS but your backbone is still running on 1 gig. Okay, or the cables are still on Cat5e. Okay, regularly, okay, at least every 6 months to do the software updates. Okay, software, we're not just talking about the DSM, we're also talking about the packages. Okay, and in terms of maintenance, the checklist, okay, it's available on the guide that was previously available, shown on the QR code, the PDF. All right, in terms of what needs to be checked and what needs to be maintained. Okay, and how often. Okay, it's actually broken down into 2 columns, 6 monthly and yearly. Okay, it's as simple as that. 6 monthly or yearly, what needs to be done to the NAS. Okay, you can follow that, minimally try to assist your customers to do all this. All right, it's very, very simple. It's just that it's best to be handled by yourself because you are the one selling and configuring the NAS. Okay, right. Now, if you're on 7.1 or your DSM 7.1, you will see that actually right now there is available chat. Okay, you can actually chat online with an agent, okay, and to seek support. All right, so you don't have to raise a ticket. Okay, if you have updated your DSM to DSM 7.1, okay, you will see that there is an additional chat box where you can start to chat with agents. Okay, you can chit chat with them. Okay, ask them questions. They will try their best to help you or point you in the direction where you want to find your things. Okay, it does happen. Even sometimes I also need it because some of the rarely used or hardly used functionality, sometimes I also forgot where is it. Okay, it happens, right? So you don't have to panic. Okay, for those with the NAS that are updated to 7.1, or if your NAS is too old, you can't update to 7.1, then maybe it's time to change to a new NAS. Okay, the chat function is available at 7.1. Okay, DSM 7.1. Okay, if once you update it, you will definitely have the functionality there. Okay. Okay, so Lisa is going to change it into English. All right, so that'll be great. Okay, somebody's going to do the translation. Okay, well, not me. All right, see, just have to push it a bit. Okay, so now the next thing is not to take up too much of your time. I'm going to jump into the Q&A. So if you have any questions with regards to today's presentation, just feel free to write in the chat box. Okay. I'm going to leave it for another couple of more minutes, all right, because there's a bit of a lag from the time I push the presentation file to when you see it. Okay, right, we do welcome any questions that you may have or anything that you are facing. If you need us to contact, just let us know. Okay, and also at the same time, if you need to reach out to Synology, all right, just let anyone know. We will definitely ping you. Okay, at the same time, don't forget to join the Facebook group. Okay, there is a public Synology user Facebook group. Okay, I didn't prepare the URL, I'm sorry, but I just want to remind you guys to join. Okay, and you don't have to post anything or type anything, but at least you know what's the public comments or what are the things that customers are experiencing, and then you can keep a lookout for it. Okay, and also what are the new things that we will talk about, right, for that is available to the general public. Okay, sometimes we're all too busy in life, we may not see it. Okay, so the Facebook group is definitely there for all of us. Okay, it's the Synology Singapore user group. All right, you can search it on Facebook and you can see it. Okay, and it's you need to apply to join, and then you will be approved. Okay, so don't worry about it. Right. Other than that, keep a lookout. We will definitely have another session next month. Okay. Most likely, very high chance it's going to be on surveillance unless there's any last-minute changes. Okay. And also, as Lisa has mentioned, we'll have an English version for the guide. All right. It will be very, very useful for everyone. Okay. Meanwhile, for those who have already accessed it now, you can start to do your own tables and your own guides to offer to your customers who already have NAS. Okay, what kind of additional add-on oil changes, transmission fluid changes that you can do. Okay, similar to cars. Okay, so that's what are the things that you can do. All right, so I guess we're good. Nobody is saying anything or have any questions. Okay, Don't forget new models RS422 Plus. Okay, don't forget to offer it to your customers. RS822 Plus, RS822 RP Plus. Okay, you can start to order them. All right. The RAM. Okay, take note the RAM is going to be different for the 822 Plus. Okay, it's using ECC DDR4. All right. There are some changes on the RAM. Okay, and other than that, the add-on card is still there. What else? Performance-wise, the CPU is a new improved CPU. For those who are into surveillance, don't forget there is still the DVA, okay, the DVA 3221, and also the new offering of the DVA 1622. Okay, I guess nobody has mentioned what does DVA stand for. Okay, so it's actually deep video analysis. Okay, so it's about there. Okay, so depends how you want to interpret it, whether you want to use analytics or analysis. Okay, so it's basically using the CPU power to analyze your video feed. All right, it works with all cameras as long as the camera is on the list, in the list, or is on VIF profile S. Okay, of course best is if it's on the list. Okay, Synology cameras list is over 8,000 different models. Okay, so definitely there's something that you can use. All right, and all the major manufacturers are all inside. Okay, so other than that, I think I have taken out enough time of your day. All right, I hope it has been very, very fruitful for you, and you have learned something new, and also to know what to order for the new models. Okay, and also at the same time reach out to your suppliers, and they will be able to also update you at the same time. Okay, so thank you very much for your time today. I hope we have already provided you sufficient updates for today's session. The video is recorded. All right, it is in the YouTube. You just have to click back the same link in case you want to check back and pull back anything. I didn't talk about the DS models today. Okay, the DS, of course, the latest will be on the DS 1821 Plus. The new models, any other newer models on the DS? We're still using the 920 Plus, 420 Plus for 4 bays. For 8 bay, it's still valid. Oh, okay. Yeah, keep a lookout for DS 1522 Plus. Hang on, let me type it in. All right, so a little bit early, okay, but I'm not going to put it on a PPT. I'm just going to chat it out. All right, I'm just going to shout it out. DS 1522 Plus, be ready for it. Okay, that's going to be the next DS that's coming out. Other than that, nothing else that I know of. Okay, when is it coming out? There's no ETA yet. Okay. Will there be any more new models before end of the year? Usually not. Okay, for RS, the RS is already stated out today for everything. Okay, let me see any others. Anybody has any other questions before I call it a day? Alright, I'm going to let it run for another minute or so, just in case if anybody has any last minute chats that you want to ask. Okay. No new 4 bay, no, oh yeah, 5 bay, yes. Okay, so I've already put it in a chat. Okay, no 8 bays. Okay, 8 bay is still good. 1821 Plus is good. Okay, it's very, very fast. Okay, 12 bay is there. Everything else is there. Okay, so let me go back to my person only. Right. Okay, so thank you very much for your time today. I hope it has been very fruitful, and also I try my best to give you as much information that's allowed from Synology to you. Okay, and other than that, thank you very much. Bye.